Come more here and lend your ear. These matters gonna break 'em down.
Yes, we are breaking it down. Welcome to the Muthaship, everybody. Woo! We're all in the house here, and we are talking love. We're talking about ways to build healthier relationships. We have Brooke Noli in the house, and our special guest, Dr. Blondine Hawkins, the director of Shamanad Marriage and Family Therapy Programs. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I know a lot of couples want to better their relationship. They just don't know where to go for help or find it.
Right, exactly. And so one of the things we're excited about is offering this free one-time 45 minutes, no stress, no commitment session for couples to come in and check in their relationship, really giving their relationship a moment before Valentine's Day.
And are you seeing out there that there are not enough couples that admit that they need to have a little work and the courage to even seek that help?
Yes, absolutely. I think we get so caught up in life be lifing, right? And so there's just so much to handle, obligations, parenting, and we lose sight to connect with our partner.
Yeah.
And so, yes, couples do sometimes just grow a little further apart, and sometimes they just need to come back and reconnect.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of listeners out there can relate. Brooke and Noli and myself, right? We've been married, for more than 10 years now, and the luster kind of fades away, right? And then you're busy with kids and the activities and the schedule, and then you don't prioritize the one-on-one-ness, or maybe sometimes that becomes, it surfaces like, hey, we're ignoring each other. We need to work on this and come together, right, guys?
Yeah, it's like you were saying, I think people don't know how to reach out or or even if your relationship is healthy, it's still a good idea to seek therapy. Is that correct?
Yes,
Tanya?
absolutely. Think about it as preventative care. So we called it the relationship tune-up as a play on words, like having your car check engine light. You don't want to wait until it comes on. You want to go in and have a moment, talk about your strengths and resiliencies in your relationship, and maybe even identify areas for growth.
Well, what are some of the red flags that some couples out there should notice, that should be a sign that, hey, it's time for us to head on it. It's time for us to make our relationship better before it gets too late?
Right. Well, you think about the times where you feel like you're looking at your partner and they're kind of a stranger to you for a moment, or you're in project manager mode, you're managing all of the things and you don't have these moments where you feel truly connected, or you're having the same argument over and over again. Now, it can be about laundry or finances or something, but sometimes these arguments are about the same thing, which is we're not feeling appreciated, heard, and connected. So those things are signs that maybe we need to kind of give our relationship some space to connect, and maybe outside help and support might be helpful.
So is therapy all about breaking down these layers that have been built up over the years and getting couples to really look the issues in the eye? Yes. You know what happens sometimes is we're not actually arguing about the real issue. And so coming to therapy sometimes uncovers those things, because it's a safe, comfortable, warm place that you can get to talk about what's really bugging you. And a good therapist, a therapist worth their salt, will slow it down and allow safety to build, and couples get to talk about things that really matter to them and reconnect. How have you personally seen positive changes happen with couples that maybe came in and maybe had that mindset of, I don't need to go because I don't need someone to tell me who I am. I don't need someone to tell me how my relationship is, because I've been in this relationship longer than that therapist.
Absolutely. Well, I think about always telling clients, you're the expert of your life. I'm not. I'm here to uncover things with you, journey with you. So I'm not going to tell you what's wrong with you. Therapy is not about fixing the person. The problem is not the person. The person's not the problem. It's really the patterns we sometimes get stuck in, and we need to sort of examine and figure out a way out of that. And so I say, come on in. It's really a place to be safe and comfortable, and not a place to be blamed for things. It's not about winning arguments.
Well, walk us through the steps of what happens. I know in this particular event that's coming up, it's a 45-minute session each for each couple.
Yes. Right. So couples come in and we sort of ask them about their origin story. What made them fall in love, decide to take the next step, connect, and maybe even be together, get married, have kids. And reminding couples about all the things that made them really love each other in the beginning can be really strength building. Then we ask them about how they argue, and maybe we can have a little tune up here and there and how they handle disagreements. And we have them leaving with a gift by some of our sponsors around the city, and maybe even provide some recommendations for future work.
Do you have any tips or advice for if there's a couple out there that maybe one person in the relationship feels like they need to go seek therapy more than the other, or maybe the other person is just not even open to it? Do you recommend that they don't come at all? Do you recommend that how do you get the other partner to also want to get there? Because you physically need to get there. But just curious, so they feel like that could be a pretty common thing that happens with couples?
Yes, it is actually. I think sometimes one partner is a little bit more invested in the process, but sometimes these feelings of fear about being judged or told that there's something wrong with you and that you need to be fixed, that's really common and understandable. But I will say, come on in. A lot of therapists offer a short little consult, and it's free, and you get to come in and meet them, because fit between the client and the therapist is really important. If you feel comfortable and safe with your therapist, then you're going to invest in the process better. And in my experience, a lot of couples come in and I meet, both partners. I have individual sessions with each of them.
Oh, good.
And in the process of learning about them and having them be able to tell me their story, they get more invested in the process and they realize, oh, it's not that scary. And so it just tends to be they get more committed to therapy just by trying it out.
And I know right now we're focused on couples, but come to find out, Chaminade opened a new center dedicated to family and marriage therapy.
That's right. We have an MFT clinic, so Marriage and Family Therapy Clinic, that just opened this year, and we offer services to the community. Now, we opened it for two very big reasons. One was to serve the community, to offer low-cost, high-quality, accessible care to families and communities in Hawaii. And the other reason was to train our clinicians and to produce really good, effective clinicians that are passionate about our families here and want to give back to their communities.
So how do you explain family therapy? Because we talked a little bit about the couples therapy. What's involved in that?
Right. Well, I might say too, there's individual therapy, which everyone is kind of aware of, right? It's often about what's happening for the person. Like, is there a diagnosis? Are they working through depression, anxiety, whatever that may be? And it's very about how can we help this person think differently, behave differently, manage their emotions better. Couples, we expand it even more, and families even more so. So MFTs, what we call ourselves, marriage and family therapists, we're very interested in not what's going on that's wrong with the person, but what's going on between people that are sustaining the problem. So we think about problems as really existing within the dysfunction of a system. When I say dysfunction, I don't mean it's bad. I just mean it's not functioning well right now. And so family therapy is when we get everyone in, and we try and get as many people as we can in. MFTs love getting lots of people in the room because it's so powerful when we can all get on the same page and figure out what's really not working here and how can we make changes. And that's what family therapy is about.
So this also involves children?
Yes, absolutely. Oftentimes, parents are bringing their children in and going, I am not sure what's going on with my kid. They're having some concerns at school, or they're not talking to me. And we try and really bridge that and connect parents with their children. Children are going through a whole lot nowadays anyways. And so having a safe place for them to talk, and then looping in their parents and bringing everyone together so that we're really listening to each other, that's what family therapy is about.
Are you seeing any trends or changes? Because I think we were talking earlier about children and our kids, teens, that do their communication mainly through devices, technology. And part of therapy that's so important is the whole face-to-face aspect. So are you seeing some changes in the way that you treat the younger generation?
Right. Well, the younger generation, they're so much more comfortable with telehealth. They are so okay with seeing their therapist on the screen and kind of talking there to their therapist. But I want to say for the young adults, like, college age, they're so much more open to therapy in general as a concept. They're so willing to come in and talk about themselves, which is wonderful. But with children, I think our strategies change a little bit. We make it more active. We have more games, of course, because play is a child's language, right? And so we get to try new things and be creative with kids, and they're often very engaged in therapy.
If you had any activities that we could do as parents with our kids at home just to kind of make our relationship healthier with them.
It's wild the amount of research on just family dinners. It's wild. There's so much research on just sitting down to dinner with your kids and your spouse and your partner and just having very open conversations without anything heavy. There's something that builds resilience and confidence with kids when they're sitting with their parents for dinner. I don't know. It's powerful.
Yeah, just listening to.
Yeah, we've been being better about that this past few years. And I've been insistent on it during the week. On the weekends, it's hard because everyone's kind of going, but during the week. And it's funny because I think now that they're all teens, some of the stuff that's shared is like, whoa, that's a lot, because it's different and they're all teens. And but then I also have to just be grateful, right, that they're comfortable sharing it, I guess.
And telling you things. That's wonderful.
Some of it is a little TMI, but it's okay. But it's I guess that should be a compliment too as a parent, right? Because I don't know that I was sharing that much.
Yeah. I think we do a lot of wait to talk instead of actually listen to. Do you know what I mean? And so like when our kids, I can think about that, like, how's your day, babe? And he's whatever, he's talking through it. I'm just like, and I'm picking up what I need to like lecture him on now. I'm like, wait, what did you do? What? Instead of really listening. And I think that asking more follow-up questions in an open sort of way is always very helpful for kids, right? Because then they feel like, I'm not going into this parenting mode. You're actually trying to connect with me. And so I'll tell you more, and I'll tell you more. There's this research that shows that adult children stay in contact with their parents when their parents do these few things, right? Listen without judgment, support their autonomy, they allow them to have their feelings without judging their feelings. Those kinds of things actually allow for that adult relationship we end up having with our kids. Because if we don't do those things, they kind of don't want to hang out with us when they get older.
And I heard a statistic like they're only your kid for like 17, 18 years, but most of your relationship with your child is going to go from 18 to when they're like 50, 60, right?
Yes.
So you want that stretch of the relationship to last, right?
Yeah.
And you're building it only in this 18 years.
Right.
So it's super critical what you said, right? Like I love those hints of how can you make your future relationship healthy and work. Because I mean, ultimately as parents, that's one of my goals is to have a healthy adult relationship, right? It's a different phase of what your parenting and child looks like.
And I think for us too, we joke with our kids, but it's truly a goal, right? It's when you get the sassy whatever back, like why are you telling me? But it's also like we're your parents now, right? So we're your parents, but we're trying to raise you so that you're somebody that we want to hang out with and you want to hang out with us later. And we're not your friend right now.
But we will be.
We're going to be friends.
We will be.
That's the goal. The goal is that we're going to, you know what I'm saying? But it just, there's that discussion that's happened over the years with our kids. Yeah.
And I feel like that's something in, like, our parents kind of maybe didn't feel like that. It's more of that level of
authority.
I'm here and you're here. But
Right.
the level now with parents and kids, you want to see that you want to hang out with them on the weekends with their kids, or go to lunch,
Or travel,
yeah,
right?
it's different. It feels different, and it's kind of nice. I hope that for all of us.
Awesome.
Hope it's working.
I hope it's working.
And I always look to you guys for advice because your guys' kids are older, so that's really good. Yeah.
You're doing a great job, Steph. Don't worry.
Yeah, Steph.
Well, generally, I assume the outcome of therapy and the goal is for successful, to make it healthier, to make your relationship stronger. I'm wondering if over time has therapy ever revealed real problems that can't be solved, and maybe the relationship cannot be mended, or worst case scenario, shouldn't continue.
Right. That's a really good question, a hard question too for a therapist, because it can be painful for everybody involved. So therapy doesn't create problems, it uncovers problems. That's typically what happens. And so because you're in a safe place, sometimes couples feel a bit more open to actually identify what's really going on under the surface. Sometimes it feels safer to avoid and be silent, but in the long term, that's much more costly anyways. And so therapy is a good place for those things to come out. There are times where couples uncover things that are too much for them to manage, and they decide that they want to end their relationship. But therapy continues then, even after that, to be a space for them to uncouple with agency and dignity and care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And of course, the real ultimate goal and importance overall, although relationships are not perfect, but this also translates to a healthy society, healthy community, bettering our children by being good examples and showing them what a good relationship looks like too. Could you explain more about that long-term goal, an overall goal?
Right. Yeah, I often think about how we create cycles or patterns in our relationships that gets passed down intergenerationally. And I know that our parents and our parents' parents, they did the best they could with what they had, with the options they felt they had before them. But therapy is a space to actually deconstruct and analyze what we're doing and whether we want to shift some things and do things differently for our kids. We know every kid is different too, right? So they have different needs and different ways that they need to be, their needs need to be met. And so I think it's about reflection. And once we are able to do that, maybe we're doing a little cycle breaking and making new patterns for the next generation and the next generation. But it's about opening up conversation, building cohesion and resilience in families. That's ultimately what we want to do.
And I hope we're working towards that and seeing more positive strides in that direction, because I know we were talking amongst ourselves earlier about our parents and maybe their generation, and how it back in the days, it's shame to talk about, problems or with your relationship, saving face. It's not good to disrespect by airing your dirty laundry, but you're not airing your dirty laundry. You're actually, talking about it, and talking about it is better than not talking about it amongst yourselves. And you guys feel out there and see that things are changing. People are starting to embrace therapy as a positive thing and not so much taboo anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've some of our friends in our circle of friends, they seek outside help because they know it's a positive experience, and it's something that I think our generation is kind of between. Our kids are more comfortable with it. I think we are starting to get more used to the idea of it, and I think that's where, I mean, it sounds so positive. It's why not, right? If you,
Right. I wonder about this idea of airing dirty laundry. I totally understand that, right? Why, focus on things that are not working, and then sometimes with a stranger, what feels like a stranger at first. But it's really about building safety to understand more what's happening and trying to resolve issues. And therapy is a very safe place because we're all bound by the highest levels of confidentiality and privacy. So whatever happens in the session is really between you and the therapist.
Yeah. And I'd like to think too, there's a benefit to maybe talking to someone who is outside of your circle, outside of your immediate family, and they're a stranger who is trained though, because then you're maybe more comfortable just sharing, right? And Hawaii on top of it is a really small town, so if someone is
Everybody
a little
knows
bit
everybody.
embarrassed to talk about it right in the beginning, it might be helpful just to talk to someone who's really outside their immediate circles, right?
Absolutely. It's really great to have good friends and to be able to share and vent. But let's also be honest, our friends are always in our corner, right? And maybe sometimes that could drive a wedge in our relationship if they're like totally in our corner and not seeing our partner's point of view. So that's why having someone neutral and objective and outside of your circle can give that other perspective. Like often couples therapy and even family therapy is about understanding the system or supporting the system. It's not about any one individual. So we think about that as our main goal. And so if I'm looking at the health of your relationship as the ultimate goal, then I'm supporting both of you and not kind of pitting one person against the other or favoring one person over the other.
Yeah, this is so great. I mean, I feel like the more that we talk about things like this and then even events that the Chaminade is hosting, the more, you know, couples out there are aware of what's available to them. Because I think oftentimes, I mean, they don't know where to go for help, right?
Exactly.
I personally don't feel like there's not too... can you maybe speak more about that? In Hawaii, is there a great need, and do you feel more needs to be done to make these services known?
Oh, very much so. Hawaii actually has one of the highest rates of undiagnosed folks. So folks who are not getting a diagnosis and then not getting treatment for it as well. And again, we don't need to be diagnosable to go to therapy. We go through all kinds of stressors in life that we need to talk to someone about. So, you know, yes, the need is really high. There's also some research around how people are waiting on wait lists for so long just to get in to see a therapist. And for every one MFT, there's like over 300 people waiting to see a therapist. So we know the need is great. And that's one of the other reasons we created the Masters of Marriage and Family Therapy program that started a few years ago, where we train clinicians specifically to work with families. And these are clinicians, and these are folks who are just, you know, homegrown therapists who know their communities and they're passionate about going back and helping their communities.
I know that this event that's coming up, 2 sessions will be offered. However, outside of that and moving forward, where can people turn? I mean, can they turn to Chaminade University for help beyond Valentine's Day?
Absolutely. So our MFT clinic serves the community. So anyone who can come to our campus, we have a clinic there, can receive services. We do have a sliding fee scale, so it's affordable, it's available, and it's specifically geared towards working with marriages and families and couples and people in relationships.
Access to this type of service is super important. I know you mentioned a sliding fee, but do you folks accept insurance, or is it common to, is it more out of pocket for people out there to know how to access it?
So this is a difficult topic, actually, because most insurance don't reimburse really highly for couples and family therapy, or they don't even recognize it at all. There's actually an insurance company that doesn't recognize work beyond the one person in the room, and so they don't pay for therapy for couples and families. And this is one of the reasons why we opened the clinic, because without opportunities like that, people don't have access for family therapy at all. So we make it as affordable as possible, and we're really not into the profit piece of it at all. And so it's just whatever the family can pay.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chaminade University, you guys, located in the Waialae area.
Yes.
Near St. Louis.
3140 Waialae Avenue.
And that is exactly where the clinic is located as well.
Absolutely, on campus.
And give us the lowdown on the tune-up happening.
Yeah, so the Valentine's Tune-Up event is on the 7th of February. It is a Saturday. It starts at 9 o'clock all the way to 2 o'clock. There's 45-minute sessions. There's 10 sessions in total. It's filling up quickly. So please head on over to our website at chaminademftclinic.org and sign up for one of those spots. It's going fast.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for that incredible information. But if I could just ask you for one more golden nugget here is, could you leave our listeners with maybe a word of advice or something that may kind of awaken their thought process when it comes to their relationship and maybe motivate them to encourage one another to be better in the relationship and to make things better?
Yes, absolutely. Now, your relationship doesn't need a fancy, expensive holiday. It just needs curiosity and presence. So turning towards your partner and giving them a moment. I think we take for granted that we think we know our partners so well after years and years of living with them. But in my experience, that's not the case. We don't know so much about them, and they're a mystery, and a mystery to be sort of explored. And so give them a moment, ask them a question like, hey, what was hard for you today, and how can I support you? And even that, just letting them talk and listen, can really build resilience in the relationship.
I feel like that's good advice as a parent to your children, too. Just that statement you said. How can I support you?
Yeah,
Right.
and we're always modeling for our children, aren't we? So how we connect with our partner is how they watch and see and do as well.
Wow,
So true.
that is so deep. Thank you so much, Dr. Blondine Hawkins, for sharing all of this with us. And to all of our listeners out there, I encourage you, sign up because spots are filling up fast. And other than that, hope you have a great Valentine's Day. Take care of each other. Love one another. Aloha.
Take care.
Come on here and lend your ear. These manners gonna break 'em down. Yes, we gonna break 'em down.